Hello.
Spooky season, John.
It seems like forever since we've been since we did this, doesn't it? It's a week. That's all it is.
A little more than a week, is it not?
No, we did it on Friday, didn't we?
Oh yes, we did, didn't we? So yeah, a week on the nose. We've been in Cork.
Yeah, how cool was that, eh? How cool was that? Seriously.
Bloody wonderful.
Yeah.
And this time, I think we got more from it than our fucking clients.
I was just going to say, all right, we've come away from it with, I wouldn't say a new business model because that's not true, but certainly a streamlined and refocused one.
Clarity around the product line.
Yeah, there's two things I'd say about that. The first is it demonstrates the power of the mastermind that we run.
Yeah.
You know, it's greater than the sum of its parts because nobody in that room has more knowledge or expertise in sales, marketing, and product creation than I have.
No.
But the sum of everyone together and the discussion that went round, and in particular the other big thing about what I think is really important, what you nearly cried about. Seriously, listeners, I'm not going to say what it was. That's for Gets Connor's story. But he said this thing, and I showed my unequivocal support. And he had a little quiver in his voice, and he went bright red. He nearly cried. The fucking woman.
It's a touching moment. It's like, I imagine it was the first time your mother saw you make eye contact with her. It's like, oh my God, he's not as retarded as I think he is.
Yeah, you're not far wrong there. I've actually had someone once tell me I can't be autistic because I make eye contact. You fucking ignorant.
Oh, it's ridiculous, isn't it?
It is. It is.
To touch on that, I know you're making a joke of it, but I would never share that because things like that are for elite, and if you're not at elite, you don't know.
Exactly. So anyway, that's the first thing. It shows the power of what we do. It's greater than the sum of its parts. And the second thing is, and make no mistake, what we came away with wasn't just a good idea. It's like a very solid foundation which will take the business forward about 10 times faster, for reasons we already knew but just weren't acting upon. And the second thing it shows as well, and this is probably a bit deeper and should actually draw people in more if they've got any brains, it shows that we are not only not infallible, but we're quite happy to admit it and accept it and act on it. You know, we don't sit there and bluster and make excuses for this fucking massive confirmation of why we're doing something stupid. Now, on that topic, for instance, I actually had it yesterday with someone on, funnily enough, on LinkedIn as I was posting yesterday's post. He was basically saying how he believes autism and things are just labels. And he's got this secret and arcane knowledge and specialist knowledge because his daughter's autistic. His sister was autistic. So he knows how it manifests itself in people with autism. But the fact is, he doesn't even get the right nomenclature. 90% of autistics prefer to be called autistic and not with autism. And it doesn't manifest itself, it presents itself. It doesn't even know the right bloody words. But here's the thing, when people like that, and people do it about marketing as well, and social media marketing and email marketing, all these things, when they are shown to be wrong, they don't say, shit, yeah, that's actually a good point, I need to think about this. They will actually double down. They will double down on what they've said. They'll bite down hard and refuse to let it go. Well, again, that's typically what people in our position would do, leading a group like that. Their egos won't allow them to admit to a mistake, and they will just double down to the point they'll get angry and defensive about it and make all kinds of bullshit excuses. Which leads me nicely on to what we wanted to talk about today and what every other cunt's talking about in the world, and that is clown time. What do I mean by clown time, Connor? Who am I talking about, Connor? Oh man, the United fucking Kingdom and their fucking shambolic government. I said, not yesterday, this is on the Friday, Liz Truss resigned up Thursday lunchtime or something. Well, Thursday morning I was walking with Mrs. EBG and I said, There's no easy way out of this. Whichever way they do it, it's going to be a farce. If she stays on, it's a farce. If she resigns, it's a farce. If they kick her out, it's a farce. And as it is, she resigned, and indeed it was a
farce. Number one, the Daily Star had a lettuce that outlasted her. That's criminal. Did you see that, John?
I've heard about it. I didn't see it, but I've heard about it. I think it's hilarious.
They started a fucking YouTube live stream with a picture of Liz Truss and a lettuce. And it was, which one's going to last longer? Yeah. 44 days later, the lettuce is in a wig with... It's in a wig. They've put a wig on it with a crown, googly eyes. They've given it a bottle of Prosecco.
Strong.
And Truss is face down.
Hey, if you're not on my daily email list, you need to buy the book and get on it for tomorrow, because I'm going to be writing about the lettuce.
Yeah, so the lettuce. Someone because I was in the co-working office this morning, but some inconsiderate bastard had booked the meeting room, so I had to come back home to record this. And I was talking to a young lady about email marketing, and I was like, "Oh my god, someone else in here knows about email marketing, and you're a freelancer." And she was like, "Yes, I'm a freelancer." And I told her about the daily emails, and she went, "Oh my god, you send emails daily?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "What did you say every day?" And I was like, "Well, I'll tell you the truth. I don't send them daily. I've got a little autist in a cupboard in the middle of Ireland who just bangs these words out." And she was like, "Is he okay?" I was like, "Of course it's okay. He's my business partner. I'm joking." And she was like, "Oh, I send 3, and even I think that's too much." And I was like, "But you said you send daily emails." She was like, "Well, yeah, but no." So she's going to buy the book.
Oh, excellent.
But anyway, back to Liz Truss. My word.
Yeah, the thing is, the irony is, to me, her policies, her and that guy, well, I can't remember his name, the Chancellor, not the current one, the black fella who left after about even quicker than Liz,
because he couldn't handle the stress.
That's the one. I mean, the moment he said, "I made bad decisions because I was stressed and it was hard work," he lost all credibility. You know, it's your fucking second most powerful position in politics in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't handle the stress, you shouldn't be doing the fucking job. It's as simple as that. It's like you know, recruiting someone for the SAS and they want a day off because they're having a fucking bad moment. You know, I get it. People can, but if you're in the SAS, you can't. That's not part of the job description. You know, improve, adapt. Adapt, improvise, overcome. Not have a day off because you're on your period. You know. So their policies, which were effectively moving more towards a laissez-faire government, were absolutely spot on. Now, I'm not saying they would have stopped the recession, because they wouldn't. Nor am I saying they were perfect, because they most certainly were not. They were just better than anything else that they've been doing. Simply because a proper laissez-faire economy, which is not what they were suggesting. They were just suggesting a less regulated economy, which is different. But a pure laissez-faire economy will still have these cycles of recession and boom. They will, because that is the nature of systems like that, where their rise and fall is governed by a second-order differential equation. It's just mathematics. But what will happen is the peaks and the troughs will get closer together. The mean will rise, and they won't last anywhere near as long. So although what happened in the short term was pretty fucking dire, it would have actually been better for the country, because the recession would have been shorter. So the irony is that their policies they weren't the worst, all right? So, but where they really fucked up, and I mean, they fucked up beyond any measure of fucked up I've ever seen in my life in politics. They're supposed to be leaders, aren't they? Okay?
Yeah.
And we teach leadership. And one of the fundamental things about leadership is you have to make hard, unpopular decisions. You almost, you know, sometimes you can be a popular leader, but that's just good fortune, because there will inevitably come times when, as a leader, you have to make unpopular decisions and you will become unpopular. It's like being a parent, you know. You don't always please your kids. And if you pander to them, then you end up with shitty children and a shitty relationship with them. That's what my ex has done. I mean, not that she's got shitty kids, because they're my kids too, but she's got a shitty relationship with them. I want to get that one in very quickly. So what they did, they both pandered to Vox Populi. the voice of the people. We've made an uncomfortable decision. It's a tough decision. Oh, people don't like it. Oh, we'll change it then to please them. Well, let's follow this rabbit down its fucking hole. Okay, so if the people are qualified to make that kind of choice, which is what's happened, why the fuck have we got government? Okay? Why have we got government if the people can evidently govern themselves? Why have we got Liz Truss? Well, we haven't anymore, but why have we got these people? Because clearly they don't think we need them. We actually don't, but that's another point. The thing is, though, it's just, you know, if you were going to, as a leader, if you were going to just take a fucking popular vote on the decisions you make, you ain't much of a fucking leader. That's the big mistake they made. Now, here's what I predict is going to happen. Probably the worst case scenario. What I suspect is going to happen, and I can't see how they're going to avoid it, especially if the newspapers get behind this, they will quite likely have a general election in the UK. All right. If they do, I can't imagine the Tories winning it.
No, it'll be Labour.
We'll have a Labour government. And now I am not a fan of Labour. I'm not a fan of any. Well, I'm not a fan of any party. I am particularly not a fan of left-wing politics because of their idiotic fucking ideology, thinking that socialism can ever work, because it cannot. But never mind that. Labour, if they get in, they will fail. We will still have a fucking dire, bollock-wrenching recession. That won't be Labour's fault, by the way. It's going to happen anyway. It will happen no matter who's in charge. It would happen if I was in charge. All right? Can you imagine? But the problem with that is, if Labour get in, if there's a general election and Labour get in, what we're going to see is the general population going, hey, problem solved. It's all going to be okay now. No, it isn't. So they're going to have this even worse walking into the recession, even more blind than they are now. Show you I don't know if you're going to see this. Perhaps we can put it under on YouTube, a link to a static image or something. It's really quite important. There's a graph which is well proven.
Holly might be able to overlay it over the top as we're speaking.
Yeah, Holly, overlay it, darling. I'll send it to you. But basically, I can't remember what it's called now. It's the S&P 500 EFT Trust, the trade view. Basically, this shape here, for those who can see it, is proven. That's how markets go. And it's been proven time and time and time again. All right? Bear that in mind. Here's a historical one superimposed over that line and where we are right now. The blue jagged line, just there. We're on the bit where it's going up and people think, oh, great, we're coming out of it. That's called the denial and return to normal. The little mini dip is the bull trap. We have got a long way to go down into despair. And what I'm saying is, if Labour win the next general, if there is a general election and Labour win it, the false optimism, the unwarranted optimism, thinking that we can avoid that graph, will mean that dip of despair is even lower. And business owners, you need to think about this. You need to be aware of this. Because the worst case scenario for you is you take that graph as being a prediction for the future, which it almost certainly is, and it's wrong and it doesn't happen. Well, what's the damage? Nothing, because you've built your business on strong foundations. You've inoculated yourself. You've immunized yourself against the possibility of a really shit recession. Flip it round and say, well, it might not happen. I won't do anything. Well, then you're walking into the storm in your swimming trunks. So you might as well act now, because the worst thing you're going to do is maybe wait a little bit of time getting things shipshape. But if you don't do it, fucking hell, man, you're going to go out of business. Let's put this in perspective, guys. At that very same elite meeting we've just been at this Tuesday gone, one of our guys is an accountant, and one of his clients, and someone he works with quite closely for obvious reasons, I hope, is a liquidator. Pre-COVID, she had herself and 4 staff in a small office. When we spoke to him on Tuesday, she's got herself and 43 staff. That's a 100%, a tenfold increase in her staff, because firms are going bust, left, right, and centre. We'll probably hit a peak next year, middle of next year. going to be fucking horrendous, man. But I'm just appalled that the way people are sleepwalking into this. It's fucking. I hate to use these words, but wake up, sheeple. No.
Yeah. All right, David Icke.
Fucking hell.
It is worrying, and people do have that false sense of security because it's well believed that lightning can't strike twice. And since businesses have come out of COVID, and many are failing now, but those that have survived they're all saying, "Oh, I feel like I can breathe again." You cannot breathe. This is a false sense of security. Lightning will strike twice, but it's going to strike a lot fucking harder.
Yeah.
Wake up, sheeple.
You ever seen Beavis and Butthead?
Yes, of course. There's a female footballer. There's a female footballer. She's very good, called Penile Harder.
That is so fucking unfair. And I used to know an Indian lass I used to work with. Her first name was Beaver.
Beaver.
Beaver. You shouldn't laugh at these things, but it's fucking hilarious. You know? I mean, for all we know, my name John means something fucking stupid in some other language. I'm not immune to being laughed at myself.
Apart from when it's about your age or you with technology, because you struggled again this morning, John. I haven't mentioned it because it's getting boring for the listener.
Oh, okay. Let's talk about struggling with technology. This is Connor. Yeah, covering up his neck because he doesn't even know how to shave properly. He's 25, 26, 25?
26 now.
26, and he doesn't even know how to fucking shave. Oh, he goes, I missed a bit of hair on my neck. How difficult is it, Connor?
It's
a
one
razor.
singular hair.
A razor.
It's a reason you wear a hat. You look like a fucking onion. Oh, look at all those hairs.
There's none.
No, I know, but that's not funny.
I've been shaving my head for 20 odd years. If I can't do it right now, I'm never going to be able to do it. No, you can't.
Do you use one of those weird skull shavers?
No. I did think about buying one, but when I read the reviews, many of them were just, this thing died after about 5 minutes. Some said the power charge got to the point very quickly where it just would charge and run for 5 minutes. It wasn't good enough. What I use is I just use a normal Gillette Mac 3, whatever it is. And I've just found in the last 6 months, Nivea do a shaving cream, which is the best one I've ever found so far.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. It's better than King of Shaves.
Is it?
Definitely better than King of Shaves, which is pretty good.
Do you use your hand or do you use a brush to lather up?
I use my hand. I just squeeze it out like toothpaste all over my head, face.
There's a whole shaving community on Reddit, of course, and they say, no, you got to do it with the brush.
No, I haven't. Honestly. I do what the fuck I like.
Because they say when you're using your hand, you're just flattening the hairs. So you're not actually getting it properly ready for...
That would be legit, except for one thing. When I shave my head, the hairs are about 1 millimeter long, so that doesn't apply.
Oh, okay.
So they have a point, but it doesn't apply
They
to
do.
me in that case.
Almost caught you out.
No, you didn't.
Almost.
No, you didn't, because in keeping with the stuff we teach, I think critically.
I think critically.
Not always, I suppose. I mean, no one's immune to it. That's why we have peer review. But at least I do have critical thinking skills, and I apply them whenever I can.
Which is why Elite is so good, because it gives you that peer review. And the best thing about Elite is they're our customers. So we was hearing direct opinions from our customers and getting paid for it. So thank you for that. Appreciate it. I was going to say, not enough people have used or let alone think about first principle thinking.
No, they just don't. I mean, it's...
Whenever I'm trying to learn something new, that's all I try and do. Well, what's the principles here? What's the core? What's the rules and the truths that I have to know in order to develop the branches?
Have you ever heard of Richard Feynman?
The name rings a bell, but I wouldn't be able to.
He was a fucking genius physicist. He worked on the atom bomb. He's dead now. He died a long time ago. But among many other genius things he did, and you can Google this, it's freely available. And maybe we should put it in our drive, to be honest. there's the Feynman method for learning absolutely anything, and it's predicated on the idea that you do it with first principles. And the way you do it is you basically describe it ever more simplistic ways, to the point where you're eventually describing it to like a 5-year-old child. And if you can do that, then you'll understand it. I mean, it's. I think Einstein said something similar. If you can't explain something to a child, you don't understand it properly.
Yeah, there's a lot of truth to that.
Now, here's the thing: blow my own trumpet. Right? This is a skill I actually have. I mean, again, how old are you? 25. So probably before you were born, not long before you were certainly you certainly weren't walking. I wrote 55 entries in a computer science encyclopedia for 15 to 18-year-olds for high school Americans. So I had to take complex computer science terms and concepts and make them understandable to young men and women. That's a real fucking skill. I think I made $10,000, and that's 25 years ago doing those. Bit of a dark horse, really, aren't I?
You are. Sorry for that clapping. That was me being stupid.
Yeah, but I'm used to that, Connor. So there's no worry, mate.
I just feel like it's an extra tool I have in the old tool belt to take the mickey out of you now.
You are definitely a tool.
I am a tool, a useful one, but certainly a tool.
So anyway,
are we done talking about Tracy?
For today, I mean, I can't imagine this is going to go away anytime soon.
No, yeah, we're going to get bored
another kind of irony is everyone's up in arms about the possibility of Bojo coming back, but you know what? He's probably the best man for the fucking job. Regardless of what you think about his faux pas and everything else, he's probably the best man for this fucking job at the minute.
If he wins it, then just why did they get rid of him in the first place? It's laughable.
It's politics, Connor. Don't expect it to make sense to a human being with a conscience.
Did I ever tell you I chose politics as one of the topics to study in college, and I dropped it after a month?
No.
Yeah, I dropped it after a month.
I'm glad you did. We couldn't be friends if you were a politician.
No. It interested me, like, legitimately. More the debating side of things, the differing side of views, how to build arguments. What I really, really wanted to do was obviously look into something like philosophy, probably.
Yeah, look into rhetoric.
But so I started politics at college, and the person who ran the course, I wouldn't piss on him if he was on fire. He's one of the biggest cunts I've ever met in my life. And then when we started studying politicians and whatnot, I was just like, the whole thing's fucking pointless. And I was arguing with people because everyone there was obviously loved politics. They were like junior fucking MP and all of that. So at one point, like, we were asked to discuss our viewpoints. And I got to the point where I'm like, this is all utterly pointless. Utterly pointless. And they were like, no, it's not. And they're all up and irate in my face. I was like, I'm not doing this. So I didn't do it. I stopped doing all the assignments. They wouldn't let me leave or change the class. So I was just like, I'm not turning up. I'm not doing anything. I'm not partaking in this. They're like, you do what you're told. I was like, I fucking won't. And they'd let me move course. Dickheads.
I've got a couple of things to say. One is I suggest you study rhetoric. If you want, I'll dig out some links for you.
Yeah, please.
If you want to study debate, study rhetoric. It's fascinating.
I moved to classics, weirdly, in the end.
Right. The second thing is, people have often said to me over the years, "Oh, you'd be a great politician, John." No, I wouldn't. I really would not. I'd be a terrible politician. I'd be a fucking great leader, but I'd be a really bad politician. I'd be an awful politician. What they mean is, on this occasion, I happen to agree with you, John, and I really like the way you are steadfast and you put your points forward and you've got integrity, yada, yada, yada. When it came to something they didn't approve of and they wanted me to change my mind, no, that'd be different.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, then they'll hate you.
Politics is just fucking nauseating. One reason I'm unemployable, and I'd never got on well at work, particularly, I did a good job, but I was never popular or particularly friendly with people, was I just don't understand office politics. I don't understand this need to hide behind ego and distance yourself from responsibility, throw other people under the bus instead of taking responsibility for yourself. I just don't understand it. I just don't get it. I can't can't fathom it,
Even NT people struggle with it. That's why there's corporate coaches, how to climb the corporate ladder. I've seen many of them knocking around now. From I can't remember what I saw. It was from something sweet to C-suite in 6 months was the tagline of one.
So I just fucking hate it.
Because there's a game to play.
Do these people have no self-respect? Can you imagine how little self-respect you must have to behave in the same way that, say, Liz Truss has, or the old Chancellor, whatever his bloody name was, Quateng, I can't remember his name. Can you imagine how little self-respect you must have, and how you then, when you behave like that, you have zero dignity or integrity?
Yeah, the amount of compromises you have to make with your own moral compass in order to rise to power.
It's filthy. It really is filthy.
Well, look at Liz Truss.
Don't say what you're going to say. Are you going to tell me she's getting 100 and something grand a year for doing nothing?
That wasn't what I was going to say then, but that's what I was going to go on to.
Fuck's sake. Can you imagine? Now, again, if she had any integrity, she would give that money to charity or refuse it.
Yeah, but she won't.
Of course she won't. Of course she won't. We should never have a system where that's possible.
Oh, it's disgusting.
It is disgusting.
It's disgusting.
It's fucking obscene.
What I was going to say was, well, she's already changed her allegiance to her party like 3 times in order to try and rise to power. I don't care that she was a fucking child. Fuck off. It's still funny. Children can still make mistakes, and we can still laugh at those mistakes. The second thing is there was a book scheduled for release just before Christmas, perfect present for the Tories, and they're in the mud right now, called The Power of Blue, Liz Truss's Incredible Rise to Power.
Oh, fucking perfect. Oh,
it was available for pre-order, so they might have to change the ending of that one.
How fucking brilliant is that?
That is fucking hilarious. Perfect present for the Tory in your life.
Do you remember the word I used earlier? Farce. Farce. It's a fucking farce. It's the clowns in the clown car fighting over... We'll leave it here, right? It's the clowns in the clown car all fighting over control of the steering wheel. Right? But here's the thing to all of you. You don't have to hitch a ride. You don't have to get in the car with them. Like, you don't have to get in the car with a drunk driver. If you do, then woe betide you. You know, heaven help you. The consequences are all yours. But you don't have to. That's profound.
And on that note, we'll leave you small-minded political individuals alone. And we'll tell you to go buy our book.
Yeah.
It's already out. You don't have to pre-order it.
And it's got a better ending than Liz Truss's.
Yeah, it certainly does.
Fucking brilliant,
we're on a bit of a hot streak with the books at the moment. They're flying off the shelf.
Well, yes, there's 3 ways you can get our help. The first is you can actually take the tips we give you on this podcast. Okay, honestly, they're valuable. You might have to dig a little bit and put up with some filth and some banter, but hey, they're in there. Second thing you can do is buy the book, Well-Fed Freelancer, wellfedfreelancer.com. It's £5, double your money back plus a free pizza guarantee if you're not absolutely fucking blown away. If it doesn't actually knock your fucking socks off and maybe even dislodge your underwear, we don't want your money. We will give you twice the money back just to say sorry for wasting your time. And the third thing you can do is you can speak to us, book a call. All you've got to do is email Holly at wellfedbusiness.com. That's it.
And on that note, we'll see you later.